In this video, we're going to discuss something Google calls duplicate content and how it affects your search engine rankings. First, let's clarify what duplicate content is. This is what Google says, and I quote, "Duplicate content generally refers to blocks of content within or across a domain that either completely matches other content or is appreciably similar." Wow, let's break that down a little. Duplicate content falls under two distinct categories, one of which is within domain content. In-domain content is content that cannot be found anywhere else on the internet except on your website. A good example of this type of content is often found on websites with shopping carts, where you may have an item, for example, shoes. Now, let's say these shoes come in several different colors, and each color would have its own web page. And on each web page there would be a photograph and a short description of the shoes. Of course, the description is naturally going to be very similar, if not exactly the same, as other pages covering that style of shoes, and would naturally fall in the category of legitimate use of duplicate content. Some other examples might be discussion forums that generate both regular and stripped-down pages targeted at mobile devices. And as we previously mentioned, store items shown or linked via multiple URLs. And let's not forget printable versions of web pages. These are just a few of the examples where duplicate content is being used legitimately. And if properly tagged and identified, the search engines will recognize this and not penalize you for it. In fact, if your website contains multiple pages with largely identical content, Google has made several suggestions on how to handle these pages. If you feel confident in your own abilities, then visit your Google Webmaster Tools and tell Google how you would prefer to have your website indexed. Or, if you're in doubt, then have your webmaster or your search engine optimization specialist do it for you. Which brings us to the second type of duplicate content. This type of duplicate content is referred to as cross-domain duplicate content. In other words, content that did not appear on your website first before appearing on any other website. This is important. The first website that Google crawls and finds a unique piece of content gets credit for that content. And if at a later date another website is found to have a close copy of that content, can and most likely will be penalized for copying your content. For example, someone who would copy content from a website like Wikipedia or another URL and then use it in its entirety or half-heartedly rewrite it or manipulate it in some other way. Google's latest algorithms can easily and quickly discover attempts at copying other people's content besides your own. And when this duplicate content is discovered, you'll most certainly receive a penalty, which will result in a demotion of your website rankings and in some cases could get you removed from the index entirely. The reason for this is Google feels that this is an attempt to unfairly manipulate the rankings, and because the content is not yours, in a way actually deceives the visitors to your website. It's really all about being fair and delivering the highest possible search result for the visitor. So ultimately, Google treats duplicate content as a type of spam and can be a major factor in your website never reaching the top of the search engines. Well, that's all we have time for today. Of course, there's more to discuss than we have time for on this video. I hope this video has been helpful to answer any of the questions you might have about duplicate content and how it might affect your rankings. To learn more about how to improve your overall rankings on the search engines, just follow us here on YouTube or visit our website, zeal.com, ZEELL.com. It's really been a pleasure to spend this time with you. My name is Franklin Galusha, and once again, it's time to say goodbye.